What's up guys? I hope that you're having an awesome day. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. So today we're taking a field trip and we're at my friend's property. We are visiting Micheal and Paulina from Off-Grid Hawaii, and we're going to learn a little bit about how to live off-grid in Hawaii. And this is something that I'm definitely curious about because in the future I would like to have my own property and be as sustainable as I can. So let's meet Micheal and Paulina and cruise around their property and they can teach us a few things. This is not their storage shed. This is where Micheal and Paulina live, and you will be very surprised to see what is inside here. So maybe they can give us a tour. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Hello. So did you guys know when you were going to move out here that you were going to get a shipping container, or did you have different ideas for what you were going to do for your house?
Not at all. We hadn't even thought about getting a shipping container because it kind of came about because we were living under a tarp, like
You know how I get.
kind of in like a camping situation.
Yeah.
And all our stuff was getting wet, rained for like a month, and
Get that sideways rain.
yeah, everything, and it was just bad. So this was the quickest option and also secure.
So how much does something like this cost?
So they come in different prices, and here in the island they're a little more expensive than you'd find on the mainland.
Mm-hmm.
But this one was 40 foot long and it was $4,500, and it has 2 doors on each end. So this one here and the one on the other side.
Which is really key because of the airflow.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a peek inside this place. So this is your kitchen area?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Ultra tiny kitchen.
yeah, super minimal kitchen, and I hear your favorite thing to make is pancakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Pretty much we survive on pancakes and soup.
This is our living room. We have our futon here, which we use like a couch, and also it's a bed for when we have guests.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had like at least 4 people come and stay here for like a week or more.
It's not much of a problem, even when it's open.
Mhm.
Usually if somebody stays, it's for like a week, and we just keep the bed open. There's enough room to walk by.
Yeah, this is actually probably wider than a lot of like New York
Yeah,
apartments,
it
so
is.
it's really not that bad.
Yeah.
And you sort of have like a makeshift vision board wall here.
Yeah,
I guess you could call it that. This is our inspiration for the design the color scheme,
I totally see that.
and the cat that we want
Aww.
sometime in the future. Yeah, so what's interesting about living in a container that's made out of metal is that you could just hang stuff up with magnets, and we have to just do that now. So we have this hook here, like a magnet hook that's for like our backpacks and stuff.
And it's pretty strong.
Yeah, it's pretty strong, like 10 pounds.
It's kind of nice, like you don't have to be like drilling into your walls or anything, you just
Yeah.
be like boom, 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 magnets everywhere. And so what is this situation here? Is this your solar?
Yeah.
Battery?
This is our battery. We have one panel, 375 watt panel,
Mm-hmm.
and battery, and then the power gets inverted from DC to AC with the inverter, and then everything else is wired just like a regular house. But as you can see there, you have 3 bars, 3 dots up on the charge controller.
That's full.
It means that we're wasting energy, and we have all the lights on in here.
It means that you're wasting energy?
So we're making more energy than we're using right now.
Oh, okay, cool. I was like, oh no, let's shut the lights off. And did you guys set this whole thing up yourself?
Yeah, I used to be an electrician, so it was pretty easy for me to figure it out.
Oh, okay, well.
I'd never done solar, but it was almost the same. So funny story about that battery though, when we had to replace it, guess how much that weighs?
40 pounds or something?
No,
or-
that weighs 220 pounds.
What? What? How did you get it up
Yeah.
there?
So the previous one didn't weigh anywhere near that, it was a lot smaller. So I reinforced the shelf to hold that much weight, and Paulina was sick with Lyme's disease at the time, and what I did was I rigged a pulley system where she just jumped off the bed and the battery got pulled up.
Oh my gosh.
Not quite, because she doesn't weigh 220 pounds. I had to pull the rest of it up. It was only like, what's the difference of that? Like 70 pounds that I have to lift up.
That's really resourceful. And so this is where you have like your dresser, you keep all your clothing and things like that.
And a lot of this stuff came from my family. My mom, my sister like to go to tag sales, and they just got some of this stuff for really cheap.
And then you have a lot of storage space underneath the bed as well.
Yeah, we built this bed pretty high off the ground to like fit a lot of storage. and to keep airflow too. And the whole thing gets good airflow underneath, which is really important here.
You're working with like a tube shape here, and
Yeah.
you're trying to create different living spaces. And before you painted, you were saying that it didn't really feel like your space, and it wasn't as like homey.
Because we wanted to maintain airflow, we didn't want to build walls to separate the different parts. So aside from the back, which is the storage, the rest is pretty open. Michael designed like all the different like
Yeah, like soffits for the
soffits.
Yeah.
That's the word. So the
For the
soffits where the electrical goes to, and he had a really nice vision and everything worked really well. But I felt like I needed to add something, like my own touch to it, to make it feel more homey. And the colors made it more homey for us.
for a good amount of time before we did all this remodeling, and it felt somewhat like a submarine or something. It's like, I mean, it'd be raining, and it'd sound like you're in some place that was just like so closed in, and the colors and the lights really made it feel a little bit more like outside or like warm.
So this is the last section of the house. This looks kind of like the storage area. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's storage slash some dressing type of things. Like we have a coat rack here, and I have my dresser here. But it actually looks really nice since we painted everything, and it feels a lot better being back here.
And you guys should have
With
seen it
looking nice.
before it was organized.
Yeah. I mean, look at all the stuff here. It was pretty much just on the floor. Now it all
Okay.
has a place.
And that's a big thing when you're living in a situation like
space.
this, is to make sure that you're very organized. And I'm sure you guys have experienced, because I remember you saying when you were like painting and you had to take everything off, it's like living in a small space, it can feel like really chaotic if there is a lot of stuff and it's not organized well. But this does actually feel really organized, and it doesn't feel like there's a lot of things in a small space.
And we always are trying to get rid of things that we don't use and make it so we have less to deal with.
There's nowhere to hide it. Like
Right.
when you have like a big house, you can just like take whatever from your like childhood and just stuff it in the attic.
Yeah.
Here it's like, oh, I guess it's going to the transfer station.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
We kind of came here without a concrete plan of how we were gonna do things. We just kind of moved into the land, started living in it, and then seeing what grew out of that.
It really was a bit of a struggle to live here without anything.
It's like sometimes even if there are mistakes that you make along the way, it's like you're learning, and now you can help other people by sharing that information, and
Yeah.
also like you know for the future for yourself.
Yeah, that's actually basically a lot of what our YouTube videos are about, mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
And
How
people,
not to do
yeah,
things.
like our viewers in the comments, they're always so like grateful that, like, oh, thank God, I
glad
don't
you
have to
messed
make that. So right here we have a lilikoi trellis that's pretty much a privacy wall for our shower that's right here.
Alright, so the way this shower works, we have a tarp on that end of the container, and all the rainwater gets collected off of the tarp into this gutter that goes into this tank, 55-gallon water tank. It all goes in there, and we have a filter for it, and a 12-volt pump. Yeah, the 12-volt pump, and that takes all the water from there through PVC pipes right on the ground, pushes it up into this shower head, and it comes right out. And I'm really tempted to turn it on because it's really hot right now. Should I do it?
Can we see the
Okay.
little demo?
Let's do it.
Like, wow, it works.
Yeah, so that's how it comes out, and it's super awesome.
The reason we went with the compost heater opposed to something like solar, which most people think of to heat water off grid, is because it's really not that sunny here a lot of the time, especially in the winter, and something like that would never heat the water. And also, if you think about it at night, the whole night it's not going to be heating, and then if you want to take a shower in the morning, it's going to be cold water. So this way, as long as I keep this thing hot by turning it every 2 weeks and adding nitrogen materials to it, it always stays hot. So this is our old shower that we had, and we just heat water up on the stove and pot and then put it through like this, and that would be our shower.
It's actually
It's-
pretty smart. Like, it's
Yeah.
not a bad idea if you just need to make something real quick.
Yeah, we left it here for our backup in case that one ever breaks, or if we both want to take a shower at the same time. There she is.
There she is. So this is the compost toilet.
So me and Paulina's dad built this a while back, and what we did is we built a 4x4 slab of concrete, And then we built walls that are about 4 feet tall. And the reason for that is so it's easy to empty out, which is all these are removable blocks. And we just recently emptied it out. And when we did, everything was broken down so fine and it didn't smell at all. There was a lot of creatures living in there, breaking it down. There was roaches and worms and ants. So they didn't mind being in there.
And then that just goes towards growing your food, right?
Yeah, let me show you what we did with it. So we emptied the compost toilet out a couple weeks ago, and we put the compost on these papayas that were actually dying. We just kind of left them for dead because we had too many to take care of, and they didn't look that great. So because it was our first time experimenting with the compost, we wanted to just put it on these to see if it did anything, and it's really amazing how much they've come back to life.
Wow.
And also there's tons of tomatoes that have come up from the compost.
So these just came up in the past few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Papaya patch.
And yeah, tomatoes.
Papayas and tomatoes. Okay, so we're gonna eat some of the papaya from their property, and thank you guys so much for taking us on this tour. If you guys want to see more of their stuff, they have tons of awesome videos on Off-Grid Hawaii on YouTube.
Yep.
Videos about the compost toilet, about
Yeah.
the shower, just about growing food in general. We'll put a link in the description. You guys can check that out. So, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for watching.